Welcome to Joy of Cheese, and let's talk about how to calculate the pressure on your cheese. Go to Joy of Cheese, click Nifty Apps. In Nifty Apps, choose Cheese Press Weight Calculator. Open the tool. I'm going to start with the lever press, but we'll also go over the spring press. All right, so we've clicked the lever press. You can open this video here that tells you how to do the measurement on your lever press in order to use the tool. However, I'll go over it quickly for you here. Let me pause this. What you need to measure is L1, that is the distance from the pivot point to the first downward pressure, that's L1, and from the downward pressure to where your jug is hung is L2. You can see it here in the equation. Again, once you're at the website, you'll be able to find that. You can actually download this app too, so you can use it offline. Remember to unmute it when you're here if you want to hear the instructions. All right, let's close it up. We're going to use imperial weight. So we've got two ways of doing this. First, let's do it the pressure weight. Okay, let's say I have a jug that's 8 pounds. The L1, that is the short distance from the pivot point to the downward pressure, is 2.5 inches. The distance from the pivot point, so that second, to my jug is, let's call it 17 inches. Let's calculate with these known parameters what the pressure is on my cheese. Okay, it's 54 pounds. Ooh, I don't want 54 pounds. That's way too heavy. So let's turn on my target pressure mode. It's on. What I want for my cheese is 40 pounds. What should I do? It says place your 8 pounds of weight at 12.5 inches in from the pivot to achieve the 40 pounds. Cool, right? All right, let's go take a look at the spring press. For the spring press, just as for the lever arm press, you can click the image and you can play the animation in order to get the instructions. And again, I'll remind you to unmute it so you can hear them. But in a nutshell, what you're doing is you're measuring the space between the pressure causing board and the lower one. So let's measure this distance without any weight. Then you add a known amount of weight, let's call it 10 pounds, and you measure the distance again. And finally, you just screw down the wing nuts in order to apply the pressure. So here we measured unknown, then we added a known amount of weight, measured the distance, and now what we're going to do is screw down the wing nuts and again compress the springs to apply pressure. All right, let's go look how this works. We're going to take pounds. Let me make sure this is off. We'll go do that on again in just a moment. So let's say I put on a 10-pound weight. And the distance, the amount of pressure that it went down with 10 pounds was 1 inch. So the change, right, from weight to non-weight. Currently, I have gone on those wing nuts and I've really screwed it down hard, and I have screwed it down 3 pounds. 3 inches. So how much pressure have I applied to the cheese? I have applied 30 pounds. This kind of makes sense, right? Even if you do just the back of the envelope calculation. Let's turn our target pressure mode on just as before. Let's say what I really want is 40 pounds as before. How far do I have to screw that spring down? All right, required compression is 40 inches. Compress your spring by 4 inches to achieve the 40 pounds of pressure. All right, so I hope you will enjoy using this pressure calculator. Let me know if you find any flaws or errors in it. So by way of prudence, I make no claims about its correctness based on my basic understanding of physics, which is super basic. This should be the right calculation, but it might not be. But take a look at it, see what you think, evaluate it, and let me know what you think.